Ken Wargenden, thanks so very much. From the SNY Sam McKee Memorial Broadcast Set here at Meadowlands Racing and Entertainment, it's time to climb in the Sulky, and my guest this evening is Derick Giwner, the editor at DRF Harness. How you doing, Derick?
I'm doing great. I'm just happy to be here at the Meadowlands. Took the trip out from Long Island to get here and play in this tournament. Hopefully, my wife says come home with a lot of money. All
right. Well, you certainly can, because I know that we have a guaranteed first prize in the World Harness Handicapping Championship of $40,000, and that may grow to $50,000 with 125 entrants. But you only got into the contest last year.
Yeah, last year was the first year I got in. I won on Derby Wars and online entry into it. For, I don't remember what I put in, maybe $20-something, and I did the same thing again this year. I don't see myself putting up $1,300 to get in, but for $23, it's a little hard. You got to win a tournament, then win another tournament, then win another tournament. But the end game, it works out nicely.
Yeah, no, not a bad deal at all, because if you don't feel like ponying up the $1,300, you just got to do some sharp handicapping along the way and win your way in. Now, Derick, we're going to get back to the World Harness Handicapping Championship, but first I want to refamiliarize everybody out there with you. I want to take a quick snapshot at your resume, something I drew up as an eye on Derick, and I call it a man of many talents. Now, first and foremost, we know that you're the current editor at DRF Harness, and you've been at Sports Eye, Harness Eye / DRF Harness for 23 years?
Yeah, I started in November 1996. It's hard to believe. It's a long time to be at one place, but I love harness racing, so it makes it kind of easy.
You were also an amateur driver for many years. I don't know when's the last time you did that.
Oh my goodness, it's probably been about 3 years since I drove in a race. I tried about a year and a half ago to get into the GSY, begged a few people from some horses, and just no one had a horse that fit the class, and I couldn't get in. But I always say that when my kids get a little bit older and I have a little bit more free time, maybe I'll start doing it again.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you could just get in there with a 5-claimer who's pretty good, maybe get some checks.
Yeah, well, that's what it originally was. I used to own a 4-claimer or a 5-claimer, and I would drive my own horse. It's much easier to do that than if you have to beg people for horses. Now the level's gone up a little bit. Most of these amateurs have horses that are $15,000, $20,000 level. So it's a little bit more money. I have 2 young kids. They want to go to college, and horses aren't as important.
Last December, we had a promotion around here called Borrow Kent's Binoculars, where yours truly and Larry Letterman, Pete Kleinhans, and Jason Settlemore all called some races. You served as the race caller at one of the tracks in Maine several years ago, did you not?
Yeah, in Bangor. That was like 1999, maybe, something like that. It was a long time ago. I was the backup for Howard Oil for a while at Monticello, which was fun. I even called a race here, 2014. I called, I think it was race 5 is all I remember, but Sam McKee let me go on the mic, and it was just a great experience. It was so much fun.
How has participating in all of these facets of the sport helped you be a better editor, in your opinion?
I think it gives you a good perspective on things, especially the driving, you know, just knowing what drivers go through, the split-second decisions. It's not as easy as it seems sometimes, and I'll criticize drivers and I'll get on them, but when you're out there and you're experiencing for yourself, it changes everything.
All right, now certainly you have the resume that says you're an editor, but I don't know if you have a resume that says you can win the World Harness Handicapping Championship, but you did earn your way in without paying the big price. What are some of the keys, you think, to winning this particular tournament?
When these kind of tournaments, a lot of it comes down to just finding that one long shot. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. If you don't hit a long shot, you're probably not going to win the tournament. You could cash. You could hit like 7-2 shots or 5-2 shots and get some money out of this. But if you want to win, you got to find that 15, 18, 20-to-1 horse and hit him pretty big, and that'll catapult you to the top.
Now, I was in a couple of those thoroughbred contests. I remember one, in fact, I believe up in Mohegan Sun in Connecticut. And the thing that turned me off about that particular contest was the fact that there was a cap on the odds of horses that you could cash on. So everybody would be searching for a 20-to-1 shot, not necessarily liking him. Is the WHHC different in that regard?
All the qualifiers are not. They all have caps on them. When you play on Derby Wars, let's say it's a $2 win play show across the board. I think it's like $40 and change for win and like $18 for place and 10 to show. So there's caps on it. So it very much becomes a luck game. You have to just keep picking long shots and hopefully you pick the right one. So I might start out with some horses that I just like and play them, but at some point it's going to come to the point where you got to just go for the bomb, and that's really how I ended up getting here. I was basically in last place in the second tournament I played in the second level. I hit a bomb, I made it to second, I advanced to the next tournament. I was in 13th out of 14 with one race to go. I hit a horse called Urban Legend here, Mike Watson trained, Reason why I liked the horse was Mike Watson had won a race earlier on the card. I feel like that's a pretty good angle, and there you go. And then I finished second and made it here.
Can there be players out there who can come with the mindset, let me get a bunch of 5 and 6 to 1 shots that I can bet with confidence, because you can do that at the Meadowlands. And like you said, instead of going for the big hit and betting on 20 to 1 shots, maybe go for these 5 and 6 to 1s and get a top 5 finish.
It really depends. If there are, let's say, 4 5 to 1s that come in and you have them all, yeah, and on top of that, there are no 20 or 30 to 1s that win. Yeah, you could do that. If you get like even money, 5 to 1, 5 to 1, 5 to 1, yeah, it's possible. But if you're going to get something where it's 20 to 1, 20 to 1, 5 to 1, 5 to 1, 20 to 1, 5 to 1, you got no shot because someone's going to have those 20 to 1 horses.
All right, so the World Harness Handicapping Championship takes place this evening right here at the Big M. We've got a couple of minutes left, and I can't let Derick Giwner go until I ask him some general questions about the sport. The Meadowlands has had 2 purse increases in the last 60 days, yet still there's a bit of a struggle from time to time to get those 10-horse fields that are so appealing to the bettors here at the Big M. How can that problem be rectified if money doesn't do it?
In my opinion, there's really only one way. There has to be some sort of contraction. I mean, it doesn't have to be a large contraction. Even one track, being gone would make a huge difference in the horse population across the sport. Now, I'm not saying that we want to get rid of harness racing or get rid of tracks, because obviously I don't. I like having a lot of tracks, but sometimes you got to change with the times, and I think we're getting close to the point where maybe one fewer track in this part of the country would make sense.
Will the fact that now everybody's going for big money, Pennsylvania, New York, and now New Jersey, will it create the type of boom in the shed, and I mean the breeding shed, that will have enough horses, let's say in 2-3 years, to support the type of racing that we want, which is a lot of racing and big fields?
Well, I think Pennsylvania and New York are basically staying even. They're not really changing much as far as purse money and everything. But New Jersey, if this doesn't really get more money into New Jersey breeding and help out farms like Deo Valente, Southwind Farms and stuff, I don't know what will. I mean, the money's there. It's, while not guaranteed, it seems to be there for 5 years. This is the time, if you're going to get in, and hopefully it does, because having a strong Meadowlands is very important for the sport.
Before we let you go, what is the one thing, in your opinion, that the Meadowlands can do better than it's doing now? We're obviously the industry handle leader, but sometimes maybe that's not enough. What else can we do?
That's a tricky question. That really puts me on the spot here.
That's the intent, Derick.
No. I think a lot of the changes that have been made have been positive. There are certain things they've done that I don't particularly love. Like, I'm not a huge fan of the Survivor 10 bet. Personally, I think it would go over much better as a Survivor 8 bet. Right. I just think it's too many races. They hold your money too long. It's not a fan-friendly bet for the everyday bettor.
How about a quick hit on the pick 4 and the Can-Am pick 4?
I got to say, I was 100% wrong about the Can-Am pick 4.
Right.
I really did not think it was going to handle like it did. It shocked me like no end. And what's really amazed me is the payoffs. I think the payoffs have been tremendous. So much so that for the first time I played it this week and took a shot, because it's coming back so much bigger than you would see in a regular pick 4.
Derick Giwner, we could go on all night long, but we got to cut it short right now. Good luck tonight in the World Harness Handicapping Championship. Derick Giwner, editor of DRF Harness, thanks so much for spending a few minutes.
Thanks for having me. I'm just so glad to be here, and I hope everyone checks out our newsletter, DRF Harness Weekend. You can download it off at drf.com/harness.
It is a great read. Be sure and check it out every week. Derick and his columnists are great. We'll be back in a minute. Dave Brower's going to jump in the chair where Derick is, and we'll talk about tonight's featured action.